As he had always been rather crude and rough, more intent on displaying his power than on showing pity and tenderness to women, our idiot lifted up his rake and, without further regard for good or ill, rushed forward to attack them. Terribly flustered, the fiends were no longer concerned with embarrassment than with the far more important matter of preserving their lives. Shielding their private parts with their hands, they leapt out of the water and stood by the pavilions to exercise their magic. All at once the threads began to pour out of their navels, and in no time at all, 8 Rules was enclosed inside what appeared to be a huge silk tent. Discovering, when he raised his head, that the sky and the sun had suddenly disappeared, our idiot wanted to run away, but alas, he could hardly even take a step. All over the ground ropes and cords were strewn to trip him up. The moment he moved his legs, he began to stumble. He headed to the left and his face hugged the ground. He went to the right and he fell head over heels. He turned around and his snout kissed the earth. He scrambled up only to do a handstand. He tumbled over countless times until his body turned numb and his legs flaccid, until his head swam and his eyes could not see straight. Unable even to crawl, all he could do was lie on the ground and moan. After the fiends had him trapped like that, they did not beat him or harm him in any way. Leaping out of the door of the pool, they ran back to the cave instead, using the cobweb as a shelter. Having passed the stone bridge, they stood still and recited the magic spell again to retrieve the web. Then they darted into the caves, all naked, and ran past the Tang monk, giggling and still covering their private parts with their hands. After they took out some old clothes to put on from one of the stone chambers, they went to the rear door and cried, "Children, where are you?" Each of the monster spirits, you see, had an adopted son, their names being bee, hornet, cockroach, cantharis, grasshopper, maggot, and dragonfly. Those monster spirits, you see, once set up a huge web to have these 7 insects captured and were about to devour them. But as the ancients said, "Fowl have fowl talk, and beasts have beast language." The insects pleaded for their lives, declaring their willingness to honor their captors as mothers. From that time since, they picked 100 spring flowers to serve the fiends. They searched out summer plants to feed monster spirits. When the insects now heard the summons, they immediately gathered before the monster spirits to say, "Mothers, why did you send for us?" "Sons," replied the fiends. "Earlier this morning we provoked by mistake a priest who came from the Tang court. His disciple just now had us trapped in the pool. Not only were we put to dreadful shame, but we almost lost our lives also. You must exert your strength and go out to make him turn back. If you prevail, you may then go to your uncle's house to meet us." And so, having escaped with their lives, the fiends went to their elder brother's house, where their damnable mouths would stir up greater calamity, and where we shall leave them for the moment. Look at those insects. Rubbing their hands and fists eagerly, they all went forth to battle their enemy. We tell you now about that 8 Rules, who grew faint and dizzy from all those falls. After a while, however, he managed to raise his head a little and found that all the cords and threads had disappeared. He scrambled up rather cautiously. Taking a step at a time and nursing his pain, he found his way back. When he saw Pilgrim, he tugged at him and said, "Elder brother, is my face swollen and bruised?" "What happened to you?" asked Pilgrim. 8 Rules replied, "I was completely covered up by cords and threads that those fiends let out. They even had tripping tethers set up on the ground. I don't know how many times I fell, but my torso went limp and my back was about to break, unable to move even a single step. I got my life back and returned here only because the ropes and cords disappeared after a while." When he heard that, Sha Monk cried, "Finished! Finished! You have caused a disaster. Those fiends must have gone to the cave to harm Master. Let's go quickly to rescue him." On hearing this, Pilgrim began to run toward the village, followed by 8 Rules pulling the horse. When they arrived at the stone bridge, their way was barred by 7 little fiends who cried, "Slow down! Slow down! We are here! Taking a look at them, Pilgrim said to himself, "How laughable. They're all so tiny. Even the tallest is no more than 2.5 feet, and the heaviest can't be more than 10 pounds. He then bellowed at them. "Who are you?" The fiends replied. "We are the sons of the 7 immortal dames. You have insulted our mothers, and now you dare even fight up to our door. Don't run away. Look out for yourself. Dear fiendish creatures." They rushed forward and mounted a wild attack. Our 8 Rules was already sorely annoyed by his falls. When he saw how tiny those insects were, he grew vicious and began to strike out with his rake. When those fiends saw how savage 8 Rules was, each of them changed back into his original form and flew up into the air, crying, "Change." Instantly, one changed into 10, 10 into 100, 100 into 1,000, and 1,000 into 10,000. There were in no time at all countless insects. You see, the sky full of flying maggots, the ground covered by dragonflies, bees, hornets diving at your heads, cockroaches going for your eyes, cantharides bite your front and back, and grasshoppers your crown and feet. A huge, black mass striking your face. It's sure would gods and spirits phase. Alarmed, 8 Rules said, "Oh elder brother, they may say that scriptures are easy to get, but on the road to the west, even insects bully people." "Brother," said Pilgrim, "don't be afraid. Go and attack them quickly." "My face, my head," cried 8 Rules. "All over my body, there must be over 10 layers of them. How am I going to attack them?" "It's nothing. It's nothing," cried Pilgrim. "I have my abilities." "Oh elder brother," cried Sha Monk, "whatever ability you have, bring it out. My bald head's swollen from their bites. Dear great sage." He pulled off a bunch of hair and chewed them to pieces before spitting them, crying, "Change. Yellow, spar." "Elder brother," interrupted 8 Rules. "What sort of street talk are you using again? Yellow, spar. You don't realize," replied Pilgrim. "That yellow means yellow hawk and spar is the sparrowhawk. We have also the kite, the gerfalcon, the eagle, the fishhawk, and the harrier. Those sons of the monster spirits are 7 kinds of insect, and my hairs have changed into 7 kinds of hawk. The hawks, of course, were most able to peck at insects. 1 peck of their bills and a whole insect was devoured. They attacked also with their claws, and they knocked the insects down with their wings. Soon the insects were eliminated. Not a trace of them could be found in the air, but there was over a foot of their corpses on the ground. The 3 brothers then raced past the bridge to go into the cave, where they found their old master suspended from the beam and weeping. "Master," said 8 Rules, walking up to him, "because you wanted to be hung for fun in here, you have made me fall who knows how many times." Sha Monk said, "Let's untie Master first before we say anything more." Pilgrim at once had the rope cut and lowered his master. "Where did the monster spirits go?" he asked. The Tang monk said, "They ran to the back, all naked, to call for their sons." "Brothers," said Pilgrim, "come with me to go look for them." Holding their weapons, the 3 of them searched in vain for the fiends in the rear garden, even after they had climbed some of the peach and pear trees. "They are gone. They are gone," said 8 Rules. Sha Monk said, "No need to look for them anymore. We should go and wait on Master." The brothers returned to the front to ask the Tang monk to mount up. "You 2 take Master out first," said 8 Rules. "Let Old Hog use my rake on their residence, so that they'll have no place to live if they return. Using your rake is a waste of strength," chuckled Pilgrim. "Why don't you find some firewood, and you'll finish everything off for them?" Dear idiot. He indeed located some rotted pine, broken bamboo, dried willow, and dead creepers. He started a fire, and soon the entire cave dwelling was burned to the ground. Master and disciples then felt more at ease to proceed. Aha! After their departure, we do not know what will happen to the fiends. Let's listen to the explanation in the next chapter.